Say you got it, spinning around here. How ironic, don't you know you bring the nighttime and I bring the day. This is the way that we see ya. Truth brings you power, then it's ours. Think about it, don't you know that there's no you without me, without you, without me. Come on, you can't be my mood. I'm the sun and the light and the way to. There's no you if I stop coming around, so you can be my mood. You can't be my mood. I'm the sun and the light and the way to. There's no you if I stop coming around, so you can be my mood. Phase into my life, it's a cycle we've been waiting for, and now it's our time. I'm seeing color differently, imperfection, honestly. The moon reflects the sunlight shine. That's why it's perfect. That's your mind. Take the light, we can shine. It's our time. Let's go. You can be my mood. I'm the sun and the light and the way to. There's no you if I stop coming around, so you can be my mood. You can be my mood. I'm the sun and the light and the way to. There's no you if I stop coming around, so you can be my mood. You can be my mood. I'm the sun and the light and the way to. There's no you if I stop coming around, so you can be my mood. Come on, come on. You can be my, hey, you can be my moon. I'm the sun and the light and the way to. There's no you if I stop coming around, so you can be my mood. Come on, let's go. You can be my, oh, you can be my moon. I'm the sun and the light and the way to. There's no you if I stop coming around, so you can be my moon.
You are listening to the soul-stirring selections of Brooklyn's very own Jenn Mundia, serving raw vocals and raw emotions, certainly fitting of these very raw times, and we needed an uplift, so thank you. But still, we strive and thrive all the way live here on B-Side, and I am your host, Queen GodIs, here to introduce you to our newest friend. Give it up once again for Jenn Mundia. So like I said, there's a lot going on in the world, and so it's really awesome to start the show on such a high note, so thank you. I would love to have you introduce who's playing with you tonight, and the first song that we heard, by the way, is called Moon.
Yes. So this is my awesome band, starting with VJ on guitar, Guitar Man Brown, Luke Morcom on the drums, Tim Barecki on the bass, Justina Soto on vocals, and Stephanie Quay on vocals.
Welcome, all of you.
Love them, love them.
So I know that you have a birthday,
Woo!
so let's just give him a quick birthday shout out. Give him We have that good family vibe here on B-Side. So you have been called a Rolling Stone, but in the not so shady kind of way. Literally, you have roots in Kenya. You then have also roots in North Carolina, Boston, and then finally we claimed you in Brooklyn. Let's talk a little bit about that transition and how you ended up here and how you claim Brooklyn or how Brooklyn has claimed you.
Woo! Okay, so my parents are from Kenya, and so those are definitely my roots.
You weren't born there, though.
I was not born there, yep. My older brother was born there. They came here, had me. We moved from Massachusetts to North Carolina.
Oh.
Came up here for school, and then finally landed in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Because the scene is just too good.
It's just too good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, if you could finish this statement, other than the scene is just too good, because we love to kind of like really go deeper into the enigma that is Brooklyn. Finish this statement. Brooklyn is. That's good though. That face right there. I think that face. Literally, I believe that when people get off the train, plane, or whatever automobile and land in Brooklyn, that is the face that they make.
It depends on what part. Yeah. Brooklyn is a cultural mecca. You know, it's music, it's arts, you can find anything here. And any given night, you could do a million things. New York in general, but Brooklyn specifically.
Do you ever feel like retreating and going back? Is there anything that happened for you or that you had that kind of grounded you in these other places prior to Brooklyn that you really miss?
Oh yeah. Yeah. North Carolina is where my family is, so I miss home all the time. But you know, I think they're always there. And as somebody who's moved around a lot, you find family everywhere you go. So I think meeting the type of people that can keep that going even when you're far away is kind of key. So I have friends that don't mind if we don't talk for a few months, and then we can pick back up where we left off.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of moving around, the first song that we heard was called Moon, so let's go there. If you were not from here, from Earth, from planet Earth, where would you be from? And what would your superpower be?
Oh my God. If I was not from like planet, so I'm picking a different planet.
Picking a different planet. You can make the name up, or you can just pick one that exists, as far as we know.
So I could just be like from Mundiatopia.
You could.
Okay.
And that's quite interesting. So
Yes.
tell us about Mundiatopia.
Oh my God, well I just made it up, so let me give
Yeah.
it a second.
It's known for?
Mundiatopia is known for crepes.
That sounds very familiar to Earth, okay.
Ice skating.
Okay, crepes and ice skating.
Good at
Okay,
ice skating.
Good. And what would your superpower be that you inherited from that place?
Flying.
Flying.
And knowing any lyric to every song.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. And then finally, what would your vice be? Like, what kind of vices help you cope with whatever the issues are on Mundiatopia?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
They have chocolate, like dark chocolate.
All kinds of
All
chocolate.
kinds of chocolate.
Yes.
White chocolate too?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Milk.
Yep.
Yeah. What else?
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time. We have a lot to talk about and a lot of jokes to be said for Jenn Mundia. The next song just happens to be called Vice. Give it up one more time.
I don't wanna go through this alone. Don't wanna wait by the phone. So I've been trying to let you go, 'cause you've been waiting on my soul. Say you want me, or close the door. You can't take it all and ask for more. I can't ask for what you cannot give. I still want you. Will you let me live? You send me up, and there's nothing left. You're keeping me down, weighing on my chest. So loosen your grip, let sake of an empty kiss. Say you want me, or close the door. You can't take it all and ask for more. I can't ask for what you cannot give. I still want you. Will you let me live? Say you want me, or close the door. You can't take it all and ask for more. I can't ask for what you cannot give. I still want you. Will you let me live? You see me up, and there's nothing left. You're keeping me down, weighing on my chest. So loosen your grip, let me go. You're the vice, and I'm on hold. No, no, no. Won't you let me go? No, no, no. Why are you keeping me on hold? No, no, no. Won't you let me go? No, no, no. Why are you keeping me on hold? Using me up, and there's nothing left. You're keeping me down, weighing on my chest. So loosen your grip, let me go. You're the base, and I'm on hold. No, no, no. Won't you let me go? No, no, no. Why are you keeping me on hold? No, no, no. Won't you let me go? No, no, no. Why are you keeping me on hold?
This is B-Side. We are all the way live with Jenn Mundia. We just heard the beautiful song. Almost wanted to start singing it, but I was like, no, I don't have a mic. That won't be nice to do that. Song called Vice. Tell us about this song. Where were you when the idea came to you? How did it come about?
I was in a 7-year situationship. That's where I was.
Situationship. New vocabulary for the
Yes,
audience.
Urban Dictionary of that. I think we can all relate. It wasn't a relationship. It wasn't nothing, and I was tired of it.
Okay.
It wasn't nothing.
It wasn't
but
nothing.
It wasn't something. And I was tired of it because I felt like I couldn't let go, but I also wasn't fully in. Yeah.
Did the move to Brooklyn happen before or after?
All of the above.
Okay.
I was, just to explain, I was here before, I was here and then I left and then I came back.
Okay.
So this lasted the duration of that. Yeah.
Did it have anything to do with you coming back?
No.
Okay.
No.
So Brooklyn wasn't a great escape?
It was not a great escape,
Okay.
no.
Okay. All right, so this song is on the most recent project that you have, which I believe was released in 2015.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's called Heads and Tails.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that project, how this song fits into the storyline or the mood of that project, and how people can find it.
So Heads or Tails, I wrote pretty much everything except for one song with my producer, Greg Seltzer, who's amazing.
Shout out to Greg.
Yeah, shout out. And he played guitar on pretty much every track. And he always encouraged me to use my life experience when writing. He's not a lyricist per se, but he was like, tell your story with these songs. And so when this was one of the first songs we wrote, and it just kind of came out, and the first parts of the song came out, you know, the melody and like the chords and everything. We're having a good time, but he's like, you need to go deeper. It needs to kind of hurt more when you sing it. And so
was the hurt there and you just had to plug into it, or did you kind of embellish?
I think at the time it was maybe still happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't hard to start. But I mean,
wasn't hard, no.
We feel something. I don't, you know, you can tell a powerful song when the background vocalists are like, in it. I don't want to put you on blast.
Shout out to y'all.
And you know, I've actually seen one of your background vocalists perform before with an urban orchestra called Little Cruta. Yeah.
She did her research.
Yes. And so, beautiful voice. But to watch you perform this song was really touching, special. I want to know, speaking of situationships, you also kind of have a situationship with New York. Okay, we're going back to that topic. And tell us about that. You said that there's an interesting kind of symbiosis between the idea of love and relationships, and particularly New York City. What is that for you?
Yeah, so we're not doing any of the songs tonight, but I have written songs about New York City. And it ties in.
In a romantic kind of way, as if it is
kind of, like I started writing a lyric about someone, and then it ended up being about, I have a song called New York Paradise that's kind of about always coming back. And I felt like I left New York, but I was always wanting to come back, and there's certain relationships that are like that too, so yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you never get to the point where you're like, you have New York's number in your phone and you're like, do not answer as the name of that number.
No, maybe I won't like save it. It'll just be like a number and not the name.
Well, if prices keep going up, that might happen. But we hope to hold on to you for a little bit longer. Speaking of background vocalists, you have fairly recently been on Jimmy Fallon and Saturday Night Live as a background vocalist, which many artists play with a lot of different people. They kind of collaborate, they do background vocals, and then they work on their own project. Tell us briefly before we go into the next song, what is that experience like to be background and then also to shift into the lead? Is it just as exciting? Is it kind of what you do because you have to do it to kind of stay afloat? Like, tell us what that is for you.
I love it. It's honestly a personal goal of mine to tour with major artists to sing backgrounds. That's why I have these girls, because I just think the sound is so much more enriched when you have harmony.
Yeah.
I love a full band, but I love background
So you're
vocals.
more excited to be on the road as a background vocalist with a major artist than
you get
to be
do all the fun things without the pressure.
Without the pressure. I see.
And I just love like singing in harmony with somebody. It's like a whole different experience. When you blend with somebody perfectly, it's like one of my favorite things. It's so cool, and it's like a whole nother level of like connecting musically.
What artists, as we go into the next song, if they gave you a call tonight and they're like, I'm singing, I heard about you, I would love for you to sing with me, let's go. Who would that be? And you would just get up and go, not even ask how much they're paying.
Oh, Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, in the spirit of Stevie, Living Wonder, the amazing, let's go into the next song, which is called Let's Go.
Let's go. All right, y'all.
Give it up one more time for Jenn Mundia.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I wanna wake up next to you. I wanna stay in bed until noon. I am the light and you're the fuse. Flowers at my doorstep, baby. Make it hot to just say maybe. We're gonna change it up. Never the type to follow the rules, but this was never tough. I am the drug that you're gonna use. Let's go. Maybe we could take a moment. Maybe it's the way we take our time. Let's talk more showing. Maybe it's the way we do it right. Baby, look at where we're going. Maybe we could kick it all night long. I love the way you show it. What we got going on. Let's go, let's go. You know I know the way. All the way now. Let's go today. Let's go, you know I know the way. All the way now, let's go today. I can be who I wanna be, never the type to follow the rules. And when you're touching me,
I continue with my questions, I want to give a quick Brooklyn shout out to some Brooklyn-based artists who are in the studio tonight. Name is Shy York and Hannah Sumner in the audience. Give it up for Brooklyn artists. It's a good place to be. So let's go back. Let's go. This story doesn't start for you in a typical way. You were going to Berklee College of Music, but you were not going as a musician vocalist. You attended as
for music production and engineering.
Music production and engineering. Yeah, so talk a little bit about that. Why did you make that decision to go for music production and engineering, you know, for people who don't necessarily understand that choice? And then how did you decide, or when did you decide that you wanted to really sing, be behind the mic in a different kind of way?
So I always sang my whole life. Was thinking about doing musical theater. Thank God I didn't do that. And,
no offense to people who do musical theater.
I mean, just because you have to have so much grit, like it's tough.
Yeah.
My friend went to 5 Week. She was like, you gotta go to Berklee. You gotta check it out. We just sang.
What is 5 Week? Tell us.
Oh, they do a summer program.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah. For like high school students.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And she attended when we were juniors. And she's like, you gotta check this out. You gotta figure out how to get there. You belong there.
So you did your own 5 week a year
later? I didn't even do it.
Oh.
She just told me about it. And we sang together. We used to like sing together in high school.
Okay.
And she was like who kind of introduced me. She wrote songs and she kind of inspired me in high school. And so I was like checking it out, and then I was like, I don't necessarily want to get a performance degree. And now going back around now performing, I wish I had done a songwriting degree because I ended up taking songwriting courses there and loving it. But I just wanted to know like my way around the studio, be self-sufficient, be able to record my own demos, be able to like enlist musicians. It's like the way to meet the most people is working in the production
How
studios.
powerful was that decision for you? So, you know, for a lot of art, people have talent all the time.
Yeah.
But then when you go from being behind the mic and in front of audiences to go into the studio, that's a whole nother ball game, which you kind of have to learn quickly or else you're going to waste a lot of money. So
I had some really nice people that helped let me shadow, especially being like one of, I think, in my class, 3 women in the major.
Did you ever engineer your own projects?
Yeah, so I basically used one artist the whole time there just to record everything because I just loved her sound so much. And yeah, just kind of just shadowed people, wrapped cables if they needed me to, labeled the control room board if they needed me to, whatever they wanted just to be in the studio. Yeah.
Well, we're happy that you didn't stay behind the computer in that way, even though we're also happy that that skill kind of really does enhance your work. Let's go into the next song. We'll talk a little bit more about engineering and technology and its impact on your work. Give it up one more time for Jenn Mundia as we go into the song, The One.
Afraid, but it's a risk I wanna take with you. 'Cause you are the one for me. Yeah, you are the one for me. I just wanna be the one to give you pleasure. The way you pick me up makes the hard times hard to remember. In the back of my head, there are things I wish I could undo. But you are the one for me. Yeah, you are the one for me. You are the one. Just think about a love that lasts forever, forever. I'm feeling what it means to feel forever, forever, forever. 'Cause you are the one for me. Yeah, you are the one for me. You are the one. Yeah, you're my one. Yeah, you're the one. You are the one. Yeah, you're my one. Yeah, you're the one for me. You are the one. Yeah, you're my one. Oh, you're my one. You are the one. Yeah, you're my one. Yeah, you're the one for me.
You are the one for me. So you said that singing began for you way back. How old were you when the music was, singing was the one for you?
I'm a preacher's kid, so we just sang in church. I don't know when that started.
Okay.
Zero.
Single digits?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
exactly.
All right.
Both my parents sing, and just singing in Kenya is huge, so.
It is, okay. So I was curious, with a lot of artists that grace the stage when they have first generation African parents, you know, I'm not naive to think that it is such an easy decision to make, to say that you're gonna walk into your parents' room one day and be like, hey, I am going to be a singer.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
it wasn't easy. Still not
no.
easy.
So I was curious, did that inform your decision to go the more engineering route, the audio engineering route at first?
That was me. That was me. They don't really they don't understand the American schooling system that well, especially like almost conservatory. So they didn't even know that was really a major.
Okay.
So
were they resistant at all?
mostly about those loans.
Yeah.
They were like, do what you want.
Shout out to Sally Mae, please take it easy.
Shout
all of us. We are doing our best in these streets. Let's talk about technology. How has, since you've been doing this for so long, going from the more organic route with family in the church setting, which is a kind of a common theme amongst a lot of musicians, when technology started to really make its impact on the music industry and things just started changing rapidly, you know, it gave independent artists a lot of leverage, and then it gave more mainstream artists a run for their money, and so now we're starting to see an interesting swap of methods of approach.
Yeah.
So people's consumption of music and art has changed a lot. Technology used to disseminate music to the masses has changed a lot. How has this impacted your work directly? Has it been more in your favor, or has it been very challenging?
I think the opportunity's there. Anybody can kind of be discovered. Anybody, like, I've had people find me on Instagram for great gigs. I've had people find me on Facebook for terrible gigs.
Okay.
You know.
So you don't feel like it made everything so kind of oversaturated that it was difficult to stand out?
I think it's oversaturated. I think some of the real talent tends to stand out, which is good. And I'm thankful for. I feel, you know, fortunate I have access to those things. I'm thankful for people who maybe that's all they have access to is a SoundCloud, and you can find somebody who just wouldn't have made it otherwise. And I think that's important to have that access, yeah.
What has been the hardest thing about this whole journey for you?
Hardest thing, that's a tough question. I don't know.
Have we erased it?
I think it's more about owning who I am, not trying to fit into like a cookie cutter version of like what people want from an artist.
Was there a stage where that was a big conflict?
I think everybody does. They just want to be like, they want to be somebody, and you follow along with like the herd because of that. And it just, I think as you grow, hopefully you learn that people gravitate towards authenticity. And so I think like keeping it real has just helped me for my own like personal growth, but also I think it's helped me musically. Yeah.
Well, you know, those people, what does it say? I think I'm blanking on the quote, but people who matter don't mind, and people who mind don't matter.
Don't matter, yes.
And you know, being an artist really kind of catapults us, and to have to sift through that very quickly to have any kind of success. So let's go into the next song, which is very fitting because the people who mind and who are not about that life of authenticity can go to the left, and the rest of y'all can go to the right, or depending on what your politics are, you might swap that around. Give it up one more time for Jenn Mundia.
Yes, thank you. You go, yeah.
Dance! you wanna make a scene, it's a showdown. Smooth, smooth, high on the vibe. Let's go. Act like you know, come on. Give them what they want. Get up now, then I get on down. Come on, come on. When you're at the show, yeah, if you got it, flaunt it. Shut up now, then I bring it around. Come on, come on. Let me put you on. Hit 'em with the left, right, left. Know the song. Hit 'em with the left, right, left. Say something, make it count. Shoot your shot before we out. Grab someone you know. Hit 'em with the left, right, left. Play! Act like today is your birthday. You celebrate, it's a dance cake. Stir it, spin it. You know what to do. Ain't no you came to have it your way. Come to the front and we'll show you the move. Bring home girl from the corner. This ain't no time for your practice. Do what you do while you get in a groove. Give me a call, you're along for the ride. Act like you know, give 'em what they want. Get up now, then get on down. When you're at the show, come on, if you got it, flaunt it. Shut up now, then I bring it around, bring it around, bring it around. Let me put you on, hit 'em with the left, right, left. Know the song, hit 'em with the left, right, left. Say something, make it count. Shoot your shot before we out. Grab someone you know, hit 'em with the left, right, left. Woo! Break it down. Act like you know, give 'em what they want. Shut up now, then I get on, get on, get on. When you're at the show, said I give 'em what they want. Get up now, then I bring it around. Act like you know, said I give 'em what they want. Shut up now, then I get on, get on, get on. When you're at the show, said give 'em what they want. Shut up now, then I bring it around, bring it around. Let's go. Let me put you on, hit 'em with the left, right, left. Gotta know the song, hit 'em with the left, right, left. Say something, make it count. Shoot your shot before we out. Grab someone you know, hit 'em with the left, right, left.
Sweat it. If you are at home watching, trying to figure out who is this beautiful woman singing these beautiful songs in that beautiful dress, if you're good, she might tell us where she got it because we might wear it next week. You should Google Heads or Tails by Jenn Mundia and also her first album, which is called Busy Heart.
Yes.
You will not be disappointed. So you started out in the church. I'm always curious about when people start to, like, so you're considered to be an acoustic soul singer with folk and pop influences, right? And then many other things, as we've just heard. How do you decide? What was that moment like when you said, I'm actually going to do these types of music coming from a tradition that has like some very specific types of, you know, music?
Yeah. When I first started writing, I wrote just an acoustic guitar, so that informed the sound.
Okay, right.
And then as I started to co-write with people, different sounds came out, and then I had to kind of pick and choose, okay, this is me, this is something I might give to somebody, sell to somebody, this is something that's not me, and it doesn't really fit. So I think like what you're hearing is just like me.
Does your family have a favorite song?
I don't know, Mom, do you have a favorite song?
Your mom, is she, oh, I was like, wait a minute.
If she figured out the link, she's watching right now.
Yay, hi, Mom,
yeah,
Mom
we'll see.
Mundia.
I don't know, she likes when I sing Bill Withers' Grandma's Hands, but I don't know what her favorite song of mine is.
Okay, we need to investigate that.
Yeah, I had to ask her.
But speaking of Mama, tell us about The Desk.
Tell us about
The Desk.
The Desk.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to jog your memory.
What is this?
The Desk is an actual thing that you received as a gift
Oh my
Yes, tell us about it, because when I learned the story, it was really sweet and very special, and then it connects to some other aspects of your life and of your family. Tell us about the desk and why it stood out for you as such a significant affirmation.
Got it. Sorry about that.
No.
No, so basically when I decided to come back to New York after like 5 years of being away, my mom just like literally packed up the car and drove me here. She's always been my #1 fan, so I think like when I was struggling when I first came back, she just like, I moved apartments, it was unfurnished, it was the first unfurnished apartment I ever went to, and she just like basically furnished the room for me. And so that desk, I think like was just like a symbol of like her believing in me just being here and making it. Because she could have just been like, you don't have enough money for a desk, you just need to come home. So I think just like, she just gives little like pushes every once in a while like that, where it's like, you can do it, here's a little push. You know, it's not like the world, but you know, here's a desk, here's a bed, here's your room. You can
That's
live.
a good mama quote. If you do not have enough money for a desk, then maybe you should bring yourself home. Yeah. But she gave you a desk as a sign of faith that you were going to make it, and that she wasn't going to have to send some movers to come and get the desk right away.
Exactly.
And that's really, really special, because I know that it's terrifying to be a parent, period.
Yeah.
And then to be a parent of an artist, there's another level of terror on top of that. But also there's joy in that, because that means that you are a risk taker. Speaking of being a risk taker, a lot of your songs are about love. And do you believe that love and pain have to kind of go hand in hand?
I'm trying to step out of that. I think I did think that, but I think I want to believe that, you know, you don't necessarily have to feel that.
Absolutely, and I think that just kind of like as a life principle, the way that we start to detach ourselves from these limiting ideas so that we're not operating out of fear. But we also know in the music industry, it's about like what sells, and you know, Mary J. Blige is the quintessential example of this. When Mary is in pain, everybody is in love.
I know. So yeah, a lot of the songs that you're hearing tonight I actually wrote with VJ on guitar here. So Moon and Let's Go are songs that we wrote together, and Left, Right, Left actually. So he's helped me write happy songs. VJ's a happy guy, and he's rubbing off on me. Yeah, we all arrange his songs together, and yeah, it's just I think I was relishing in that. When I listen to an album, the first thing I go to is the ballad, the sad song, the heartbreak song. I love it. I still do it.
Why is that?
It's just so good. Pain is just so good.
Oh, God.
No, especially when it comes through in music, because you can enjoy like the good part of it. You don't have to go through the heartache. So, and I was writing all those songs. I feel like Busy Heart was like a whole album of just like heartache, and it wasn't even like I was a sad person. It was just like those are the songs I like. But it was like, you know, I think it was smart to like write songs and feel things that are happy and like emote that in my music.
I know for a fact that this is a quote that you were drawn to, so I'm going to read it. And then
you know too much about me.
It's all the good stuff, though. Promise. Pain is important. How we evade it, how we succumb to it, how we deal with it, how we transcend it. Audre Lorde.
Yeah.
Who is just phenomenal. I think an inspiration for many musicians and artists. Do you feel like your music, when you've written songs that were emoting and talking about specific relationships that you have been through, and really, you know, Greg Seltzer, by the way, he was like, put it all out there. When you go back and listen to those songs, does it make you kind of go down deeper in that emotion, or does it have a different effect? Does it make you feel?
When I listen or when I write? Though?
When you go back to and listen.
Some
or have to sing them over and over.
Yeah, if I listen to Busy Heart, that was a lot. That was one relationship pretty much, and I think I can feel like happy about it, you know, having that work, that body of work. Some songs that I'm writing now might be a little too real to not feel it, to disconnect. But yeah, I think it is important to have a story. I think it's important to know, like, yes, I have Kenyan roots, and you know, I studied this and that, but also like to have new experiences. And if somebody hurt me, or if there's pain in my past, to not let that inform my whole life. You know what I mean? I don't want to go around being sad because sad things happen to me. Just like, you know, store that away and understand it, process it, and then transcend it. You know, it's just a really important quote, and I mean, obviously a prolific.
Well, speaking of transcending, I really do care. Do you?
What is it that you know about me that I don't know? I'm scared of these
That
curveballs.
was a little kind of just because of the recent conversation around Melania Trump wearing the jacket that says, I don't care.
Oh, boy.
I really don't care, do you? And people trying to appropriate it to one thing or another.
Oh, boy.
But
I tuned her out. She's muted.
Right. Yes. And this is a good question for artists because sometimes artists are branded as being too deep, too thoughtful, or not deep and thoughtful enough. And for some artists, it is a toss-up. You know, maybe they're deep and thoughtful when they think it sells, and maybe they kind of are not deep and thoughtful when they think it sells. But I think we kind of get a different vibe from you. But let's go into this next song, which is about the toss-up of life and not being able to always make decisions with ease and grace, but the effort is there. Give it up for one more time for Jenn Mundia as we go into the title track from the recent album, Heads or Tails. Give it up.
If you know it, sing along. Let's go. Ha, ha. Ready, ladies? Let's do it. Hey. I'm gonna call it in the air. I'm gonna call it in the air. Heads we make it, tails we don't. If we stop now, we won't get hurt. Is it too late to take a turn? Heads we make it, tails we don't. She said, toss it, leave it. You don't need it. It's commitment. I can't be it. Let's go. I'm gonna call it in the air. I'm gonna call it in the air. Heads we make it, tails we don't. If we stop now, we won't get hurt. Is it too late to take a turn? Heads we make it, tails we don't. Ladies and gentlemen, VJ Brown on guitar. He said, stop it, keep it. You don't mean it. Both sides fleeting. What's the meaning? Let's go. I'm gonna call it in the air. I'm gonna call it in the air. Heads we make it, tails we don't. If we stop now, we won't get hurt. Is it too late to take a turn? Heads we make it, tails we don't. And if we flip it, can we change our minds? People do it all the time. Call it, call it, call it, call it. I'm gonna call it in the air. I'm gonna call it in the air. Heads we make it, tails we don't. If we stop now, we won't get hurt. Is it too late to take a turn? Heads we make it, tails we don't. Take it away, girls. I'm gonna call it in the air. I'm gonna call it in the air. Stop now, we won't get hurt. Too late to take a turn. Heads we make it, tails we don't. I'm gonna call it in the air. I'm gonna call it in the air. Stop now, we won't get hurt. Too late to take a turn. Heads we make it, tails we don't. One more time for Justina and Stephanie. They're the best.
Heads we make it, tails we don't. We're approaching the next round of elections. It's not soon enough. Are we gonna make it?
I hope so.
Hope so. How do you feel like your music is helping people make it? Like, are people who are really struggling right now, what song should they listen to of yours that you think will help get them across that finish line?
What can we uplift?
I think the new song, Left, Right, Left, maybe,
Yeah,
just to
I
make
agree.
you feel good. You know
I mean,
what
anything from this set, honestly, but Left, Right, Left for sure.
It's not recorded yet, but you know, we can listen to this.
A
It's
couple
on
of
YouTube.
a few more quick questions,
Yeah.
quick round, lightning round, because we're almost at that time. What's your favorite spirit animal?
Spirit animal,
choose
flamingo.
One. Flamingo.
Yes.
Nice. I would not have guessed that, but I am not going to contest that. Let's talk about favorite cover song. You do a lot of covers, and which can be a tricky thing, you know. So what's your favorite one?
I like to do Ghost, Leon the Havas.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah, I love her, and it's just like, I relate, so yeah.
Wedding singer or background singer, if you had to choose?
Background singer.
Yeah. Shout out to all the perpetual wedding singers out there. You have been a wedding singer though, right?
I sure have.
Yeah, shout out to that.
Sure
That's a tough job. Somebody got to do it. And this is actually a little bit more involved. This comes directly from the producer of the show. She doesn't know if you're a fan of SZA, but SZA is a very big name in music world today, right now. She once said that people simplify black women to just an attitude. Can you expand upon that? And the reason why I'm asking you this specifically is not to project it or to assume, but because I know you've had very critical thoughts around the double standards that black women in general face, and particularly black women in the public eye, doing whatever kind of work, whether it's politics or music. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
I agree. SZA, I love her music, I love her vibe, I love her energy. And I completely agree. Black women specifically have to work 2 to 3 times harder. And I feel like I've done that, and sometimes it still doesn't pay off. And it's frustrating, but it's kind of like going back to what you said. Like, know the history there and transcend, surpass. Because for me, my victories are so much greater when I reach a goal that I've been striving for, and I know exactly how hard I worked for it, knowing my position as a dark-skinned black woman in the music industry. It means that much more, because it means I've surpassed, the finish line has been moved several times since I started, you know? So I know you can understand.
I can dig it for sure. But you know what, one of the bonuses is not everybody can wear purple lipstick and a fly-ass dress like that. Love the skin that you're in, everybody. Give it up one more time for Jenn Mundia. So we are going to do this close, and then we're going to go into the last song, which is called Almost. And I actually want to big up this song because the video for this song has a passerby stop and do a freestyle, which was so amazing. Go on YouTube and find the video for Almost. It is a really beautiful human moment, and we need more of those. And I'm grateful to you for making that possible for people to connect in such a raw and visceral way. Yes. So that's it. We want to give a big shout out to artists worldwide who don't just leave it to chance when it comes to expanding minds and moving souls, like Heads or Tails. Your efforts haven't failed to uplift and inspire, and we thank you so much, so much, Jenn Mundia and crew, for doing just that. And if you all want more of this, B-side that is, you can check us out on our YouTube channel using the hashtag BsideBK, or listen to our podcast at soundcloud.com/BsidePodcast, or just come on by the live show and get your dose up close. I am your host, Queen GodIs, reminding us all that like great music, great humans do still exist. So may the hate we resist allow our hearts to persist. We love you, Brooklyn. Till next time.
Thank you for that amazing outro. I'm just going to tune very quickly. I have one more song for you guys. I want to dedicate this song to my good friend Allie, who's no longer with us, that I wrote this song with. I hope you can feel her spirit in this tune. I don't blame you, 'cause no one really wants to be alone. Oh no, I don't blame you. Nobody wants a table just for one. Oh,
It's love by definition. It's love with condition, or something like it. So we keep trying. It's almost what I wanted. It's almost something great. And if I close my eyes, it's almost perfect. Almost, almost. You almost make me happy. You almost make my day. You almost really wish that you were worth it. Almost, almost. 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 I'm a liar. I look at you and say, I want you to. I'm a liar. It's easy to pretend that it is true. True. It's love by definition. It's love with condition.